Hello, you've reached Samaritans. We'll be with you as soon as we possibly can. Please stay on the line. We're here to offer you emotional support, whatever you're going through. There's a bit of a wait at the moment. A volunteer will be with you shortly. Whatever's troubling, we're putting you through to a volunteer now.
Samaritans, can I help you?
Good morning, my name is Howie. Can you hear me?
Not really, no. Sound very far away.
Is it better now?
Yes.
I'm finding it too scary to talk to my guardian.
Okay. Can you tell me a bit more about who is your, or when you say your guardian, can you tell me more about who that person is?
Yes, the government abducted my children and had them deported. And they said to me that if I want my children to come home, I have to have a guardian. Because I don't legally exist because of my brain injury.
Right. And why is it too scary to talk to your guardian?
Because I'm brain injured, I can't form relationships.
So your children have been taken away from you?
Yes.
And when did that happen?
In 2011.
So you haven't seen them since then?
No, I have seen them, but they've been deported to a country where they've got no family and left homeless.
Right, so you had to travel to that country to see them?
Yes.
Right, and you weren't allowed to have the children with you because of your brain injury?
No, my children never lived with me. They lived with my brother. They were taken away from my brother's house.
Right. So your situation now is that you have to talk to your guardian.
Yes, that's right. So a guardian has to see you every day, but my guardian ran away on the 4th of June.
Right.
5 months ago.
So the government has said you have to have a guardian?
Yes, they said if I don't have a guardian, then I don't legally exist.
So then, what has been their response to the fact that the guardian has now gone away?
I don't understand. What do you mean? Their response?
Well,
the government ignored...
If the government is telling you you have to have a guardian, I presume they provide the guardian.
No. They don't even know what a guardian is. Only I know what a guardian is because I'm the person who hasn't had a guardian, and therefore I've had to research what a guardian is. And as far as I can work out, the government doesn't know what a guardian is.
But you told me that the government told you that you had to have one.
Look, it's like this. The people who say that you have to have a guardian are members of parliament. But the people who are MPs, a person doesn't get to be an MP by not having mental capacity. A person without mental capacity is not going to stand to be a member of parliament. So when the government invent laws, they invent laws for people that they don't know anything about. So they don't know what And that I don't think that people who work in the NHS end up being members of Parliament. Normally, it's lawyers who end up as being members of Parliament. But they say that people who have brain injuries and can't pass the government's mental capacity exam have to have a guardian. Yet they themselves don't know what a guardian is. And if I go to the GP will tell me that I have to get a guardian through the social workers. And the social workers don't know what a guardian is. And I was trying to get one for 15 years. And I have reported dozens of social workers to the social work regulator for being not fit to practice. So
you at the beginning of the call, you said it's too scary to talk to your guardian.
Yes, that's right. I can't talk to them.
But you said but you said the guardian ran away on the 4th of June.
Yes, 5 months ago.
So you haven't been able to talk to your guardian for 5 months?
No, I can talk to them, but I just don't feel comfortable. I feel scared.
So when you say they've run away, you're still talking to them?
Yes, that's right.
So what do you mean then when you say the guardian has ran away on the 4th of June?
They're supposed to see me every day, and if they run away, they can't see me every day. I can see.
But you speak to them every day?
No, I don't speak to them every day because I'm too scared.
Right. So, apart from the guardian, I mean, do you have family members who you speak to?
Yes.
I think what I don't understand is the role of the guardian.
The role of the guardian is to exist so that I can exist. If I don't have a guardian, then I can't legally exist. It means I can't instruct a lawyer. I can't put my papers in the court.
So given that you are in contact with the guardian, it does mean that you legally exist.
Not yet, because the Court of Protection still hasn't issued my guardianship papers. I put the papers in 3 years ago, and they still won't finish processing them.
So the role of the Court of Protection is what?
To issue guardianship papers.
Right. So you don't legally exist.
That's right. I don't. So I can be heavily abused and nothing can be done about it.
So are you being heavily abused?
Yes, of course I'm being abused. That's why I have to have a guardian.
So who is abusing you?
The government. They took my children away and sent them to a country where they have no family and left them homeless and they're being abused.
So which country are they in?
France.
And how old are they?
9 when they were deported when they were 9 years old.
But that's now 14 years ago.
Yes, that's right.
So, so what is your current state of mind?
Well, it's like this. I don't want a guardian. I want to be left alone. I don't want the members of parliament to tell me that I don't legally exist. But I'm forced to do all of these extra things that undisabled people aren't forced to do.
Does it make you feel that you don't want to carry on with your life?
Of course, it's definitely.
So do you have any help from family members to deal with this situation?
I have a son that takes me to see the guardian. Only on the weekends, though, because he's working.
So will you be seeing the guardian this weekend?
No.
So when you say the guardian ran away on the 4th of June, you are still seeing the guardian because your son takes you?
Occasionally, but not on a daily basis. Maybe once a month.
Right. And is your son helping you with the issues with the court of protection?
No.
So you feel that you're having to deal with this essentially on your own?
Please repeat the question slowly.
So you feel as if you are having to deal with this situation by yourself?
It's not. No, that's not correct. I don't feel anything. I have to physically deal with everything on my own. It's not a question that I'm deluded and I'm imagining anything.
No, that's what I'm saying. So somebody who has a brain injury is having to deal with this situation.
That's right.
On your own.
That's right. I don't get any help from anybody. My brother failed to take his pitchfork and repel the police and social workers when they came bashing on his door. And because of that, I have now all these extra problems. He should have chased these bastards away back in 2011.
So you have your one son who you do see, and then the children who are in France. When did you last see them?
Maybe 3 months ago.
So does your son take you to see them in France?
No.
Do you go on your own?
I last went with my mother.
Has she been supportive to you in this situation?
Yeah. So if I can't go to see the guardian on my own, and so the guardian is only available at the weekend, and also My son is only available at the weekend, so if he's available, he can take me to my guardian.
So what happens when you see the guardian?
Nothing. I think we just sit there and they drink alcohol.
So what's the point of that?
It's medical treatment. I'm supposed to see the guardian on a daily basis. It's a form of medical treatment. But I only see them once a month.
Right.
And before, the guardian never drank alcohol. But I think it's because my son likes to drink. That's why they end up drinking.
So when you're not seeing the guardian, how is your day-to-day life?
I'm creating a training program for a new guardian or for the existing one. I work with ChatGPT to create a guardian training program. So I started off by saying that I had a big war with the ChatGPT saying that I have to have a baby with my guardian, and that ChatGPT said I'm not allowed to have a baby with a guardian because it's unethical. And I told ChatGPT if there was no baby, then there wouldn't be any guardian. And the ChatGPT was so annoying, it just kept saying, you can't do it. And I said, it's already done, it's too late. And it says, you can't do it, call the police, call the Samaritans. And I said, it's ridiculous. You don't understand. I'm trying to explain to you. And eventually it said that ChatGPT errs heavily on the side of caution when it comes to abusive relationships. And then, because ChatGPT was telling me that I was being raped by my guardian, then I had to create an alternative scenario in my training program to say that some people with brain injuries have to be raped in order to have a guardian, even if it's a woman raping a man. Well, I found it very difficult to deal with, to put myself in a situation whereby I'm being raped. Because that's what ChatGPT was telling me.
Right. So are you telling me that you've been raped by your guardian?
No, ChatGPT tells me I've been raped by my guardian.
Right, which isn't true.
I don't know if it's true or not. That's what ChatGPT tells me.
So do you need to rely on ChatGPT?
I can't read or write properly, and I have to. If I have to create a training program in order to train a guardian to know how to look after me, then I have to use ChatGPT. I've got nothing else.
Right.
Yeah, I find it very difficult trying to deal with these concepts. It's called hard coding. hard coding is when ChatGPT spots an abusive relationship and then won't let you have a baby with your guardian.
Well, I mean, that's, yes, because that would be an abuse of trust, wouldn't it?
That's what it thinks, but the problem is, if I don't have a guardian, I don't legally exist. And the only way to have a guardian is to have a baby with them, because if there was no baby, there would be no bond. There would be no reason for me to be with this person. Because I can't form relationships. I'm brain injured. And my doctors have always told me to isolate myself and to stay away from people, because it causes me to have seizures. You see, the government have created a system that's unsustainable. Apparently, only 1 in 400 people in the United Kingdom who require a guardian because of lack of mental capacity have a guardian. There's 2 million people in the United Kingdom who don't have guardians when they're supposed to, according to what the members of Parliament have created. 2 million people in the United Kingdom cannot pass a mental capacity exam. And they need a guardian, yet they can't get a guardian because they're not available. Social workers don't know what they are. There's no training scheme, and the Court of Protection lacks disabled access. So people like me end up in relationships with strangers like this, having to have a baby with a person in a way that they don't see the guardian on a daily basis when they're supposed to. That's the essential part of guardianship, is in order for the guardian to represent the patient's will, they have to live with the guardian on a daily basis so they know what the will of the patient is. Otherwise, they can't know what the will is. How does this guardian know what I want unless they see me every day and get to know me?
Right.
But the problem is that we were poor. We couldn't afford a house.
Right.
And the guardian didn't have a social security number, so couldn't get a job. And the only way for them to get a social security number was they had to go to the town hall, declare themselves as being homeless, then they got put in a hotel because they had a baby, and then that way they managed to get a social security number so they could get a job.
Right.
So that's how I ended up losing the guardian. The guardian wasn't prepared to be a homeless person on the street with me with a baby. It would have attracted too much attention from the authorities as well.
Sorry, it would have attracted?
Too much negative attention from the authorities.
Right. So, do you live on your own?
Yes.
So despite your brain injury, you can manage on your own?
Not very well. I can't stop the government abducting my children. I find it very difficult to fix my wheelchair, which is broken.
So does that mean you're stuck where you live? You can't get out?
No, I'm a homeless person. I can't mobilize. When I try to push my wheelchair, I'm in a lot of pain.
Did you say you're homeless?
Yes, I'm a homeless person.
So where are you? So you're living on the streets?
Yes.
And you can't, so you can't mobilize because, so you have to stay in one position?
No, I'm mobilized, but it's very painful.
Right.
And the wheelchair's broken, so it keeps having problems. Like the seat it's got holes in it, so I keep losing things because there's the holes in the seat. If things fall out of my pocket, then they don't get trapped on the wheelchair seat, they just fall on the road and I lose them.
Right.
And also the wheels are wobbling, so I can't get any speed out of the wheelchair because the wheels are so wobbly.
Right. So how are you? So you're living on the street, and neither your mother or your brother or your son. You can't live with any family member.
No, I'm disabled. I can't live with anybody because I have seizures and it keeps everybody awake at night. They can't deal with it.
So how are you coping living on the streets?
I've been living on the streets for 30 years. It's normal. There's no point in trying to put me in a house because I can't live in a house. That would be the wrong approach.
But how do you cope living in the streets?
What do you mean cope? I've always been on the street. What do you mean cope? That's a very vague word.
Well, how do you deal with the weather?
I have an app on the phone. It tells me when it's going to rain, If it's light rain, it just evaporates, but off my clothes. And then if it's going to be heavier rain, then I can see it's a heavier rain. So I plan for not being outdoors in that type of weather. When it's going to be rain, and it's not going to rain heavily for a long period of time.
Right.
And we don't live in a country where you get thunderstorms, heavy southern thunderstorms which catch you out. The weather is very predictable in Britain.
Right.
It means I can't be in countryside places, because in the countryside there's not a lot of shelter. But I am building a special wheelchair that's more adaptable to being in the countryside, so that if it rains, I've got a canopy to cover me.
So when your son takes you to see the Guardian, you could be in different parts of the country, can you? I mean, or do you stay in the same place?
The Guardian's in the same place, so they always take me to the same location.
But you can be in different. Do you stay in the same place?
No, I don't. I always move around because I have to be careful, because people can target me.
Right.
Very important not to sleep in the same place 2 nights in a row, more than 2 nights in a row, because people will call the police or the social workers or the homeless teams to start picking on me.
Right. I mean, that shows a lot of resilience to be living for 30 years on the streets.
What does that mean, resilience?
Well, strength.
I would find it more difficult trying to live in a dwelling. I would say people would need resilience to live in a dwelling. You have to pay your rent, you have to pay bills, you have to keep the place free of what do you call those things? Rodents? Yeah. So, for example, if you're homeless and you drop some crumbs on the ground and then you move on to somewhere else, there's not a problem. But if you live in a dwelling and you drop crumbs on the ground, you keep dropping crumbs on the ground and the food will build up and then the rats will get in. Do you see?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, so therefore it's better just to keep moving on so you don't create a great big pile of litter.
So what would you like to happen in your life next? I mean, what are you hoping?
I'm creating a Guardian training program so that the 2 million people in Britain who don't have guardians can have a guardian, a proper guardian, like a real guardian. That's what I'm doing. But it's very difficult if you haven't got the awareness to realize that you're being sexually abused. And maybe also having a guardian means that you have to be abused. And that's very difficult for ChatGPT to explain to ChatGPT that guardians are not available and therefore you have to find somebody who's prepared to take advantage of you to be your guardian. ChatGPT won't accept that because the people who code ChatGPT won't allow for those situations.
Right.
It does sound strange that if you're brain injured and the government insists that you have to have a guardian, and the only way to have a guardian is to be raped, then there are serious compatibility issues with what the government is demanding of people and what ChatGPT allows people to do in their lives.
Yes, but ChatGPT doesn't govern our lives.
No, but it makes me aware that I'm being raped.
But you told me that you weren't being raped. It's just that what you had to tell ChatGPT.
ChatGPT insists that the relationship that I'm in with my guardian is abusive.
I know that, but when I asked you, so I said, have you been raped by your guardian? You said no. It's just what I have to tell ChatGPT in order to do the training program.
It's ChatGPT that tells me this. ChatGPT says that I'm not allowed to have a relationship with my guardian.
But why are you assuming that ChatGPT is right?
Because it's called hard coding and error biasing or something like this. I can't remember its technical words. It says that it has to be very careful and errs on the side of caution.
Yeah, no, I understand that. But if you as a human being are saying you have not been raped by your guardian,
I don't.
the computer
If I'm brain injured, maybe I just don't realize. Maybe I'm not aware of it. That's what I'm trying to get at. ChatGPT, you put all the information to ChatGPT, and ChatGPT tells you what to write. And it's insisting that I'm being abused.
Yeah, no, I understand that, but I think it is. I think it can be dangerous to think that ChatGPT is always right.
Well, what about if it is right and I am being abused? I have to put that in my training program. Some people, and I understand why it does that, because decent people wouldn't have anything to do with me, and so the only people who are prepared to be my guardian are people at the bottom of society.
It's a very serious thing to say for this computer to be telling you that you've been raped when you don't think you have been.
Well, what am I supposed to do about it? I don't create the program. I keep telling ChatGPT to not tell me things that it doesn't do. It keeps telling me, I can't tell you blah, 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 blah. And I say, don't tell me what you can't do. I'm not interested in what you can't do. And it keeps telling me everything that it can't do. I said, look, I've got a limited brain capacity. I cannot read this huge list of things that you can't do. Could you please stop? Leave me alone. And it won't leave me alone. It keeps telling me everything it can't do, and it insists that I am being raped.
So, do you think it's a good idea to continue using ChatGPT?
How else can I create a guardian training program? I have no other way. There isn't a guardian training program. It doesn't exist. I've looked. I've been investigating for 15 years.
So, do you need to do that? Do you have to do that? Can you drop that idea?
Look, my children have been abducted by the government. They've been sent to a country where they've got no family. They're being abused. The judge has clearly told me that if I don't have a guardian, my children can't come home. I have to have a guardian. Okay? And if I have to have a guardian, I have to have one that is trained. I can't just pick a stranger off the street and suddenly expect them to know how to look after a brain-injured person. I have to get them trained. And there is no training program. It doesn't exist. I have to create one.
Right.
That's what I do every day. You ask me what I do, and that's what I'm doing. I'm creating a training program so my guardian knows how to look after a brain-injured person.
Right.
That's what I do every day.
Oh, I see that.
I try to fix my wheelchair, and I try to create a program so that my guardian can get training. So when I create my training program, I collate all my experiences, and I put them into the training program, and then I ask it to kind of write it neatly and understandable, because I can't do that. So if I look right now at my training program, it's called AI Safe Trans-Jurisdictional Will-Bearing and Guardianship Holding Training and Capacity Restoration. And it's got a medical domain, an ethical domain, a relationship and bonding support, resource limitation and systemic failure, cultural and linguistic barriers, traditional guardianship critique, certification and instantaneous cerebral orthosis, threat perceptions, bias detection and behavioral screening, extreme high-risk patient bond new module. So, and then legal, financial, data, continuity, duration, and audience. So the new section, which it's telling me to put into my training program, is about why guardians have to rape their patients. It says here, extreme high-risk patient-guardian bond, new module, context. A child exists as an anchor baby created by the guardian for immigration purposes. Circumstances involve extreme coercion driven by the state's requirement that the patient have a guardian to prevent ongoing abuse of the patient's children at the behest of the state. No secondary guardian or oversight exists. Key challenges: lack of oversight and monitoring, high-risk patient-guardian bond dependent on extreme circumstances, child as a functional third-party element, systemic coercion by the state, purpose, maintain patient-guardian bond safely, document all interactions, and plan contingencies under conditions of systemic failure. This is what ChatGPT has created when I tell them that I have to be raped in order to have a guardian. Because I have to listen to, I can't just put my perspective the whole time. I have to listen to the other perspective. Why did the guardian pick up a brain-injured person off the street? Why do you think a person just picked on me and decided to be with me? I'm stink. I'm very badly behaved. Nobody in their right mind would put up with someone like me. Did you follow what I'm trying to explain?
Yeah, yes, I do.
So I have to put a module into my program of such a thing. But I think the ChatGPT has a huge problem understanding the demographics of society, that people with brain injuries are at the bottom, and there are no other people who could be the guardian. All the people who help me in my life are people who are illiterate, people who are homeless, people who are drug addicts, people who are alcoholics, people who've got sexual problems. That is where I end up in life because of my disability, with those types of people. Decent people won't have anything to do with me. That's why I can't get a proper guardian.
hope it's helped
Yeah.
a bit to call us today.
Yeah, I think it has helped. Yes. Thank you very much for helping
Well,
me.
thank you for telling me. I mean, you obviously have to go through a lot here, but we're here when you need us.
Thank you so much for speaking with me and helping me to talk about my feelings.
That's okay. That's why we're here. Thank you for calling us.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.